Welcome back. So in the last video, we made a very generic pickup class, and in this video, we're going to build on that pickup class and make some battery-specific behavior. So we recompiled the project, and it's loaded back up in the editor, and we're going to use the Add Code to Project wizard again, but one of the more advanced features this time. So again, you go File, Add Code to Project, and we've got this, list of some of the more basic classes, but our new custom class isn't here. So we want to show all classes, and we can just go ahead and type in pickup, and there's our new class. So we'll go ahead and select that, click next, and this one we will call battery pickup. And it's, again, being stored in the right folder, our module folder inside our source folder, inside our project folder. And so we can go ahead and create the class. So this is going to ask us again if we'd like to go ahead and edit the code and reload the project and stop debugging. So again, this will be sort of those routine things that you get used to adding classes to your new project. So again, it's gotten ahead and opened the header file for us. So we've got the write includes, we've got pickup, which is our parent class, we've got the generated header, and we've got the uClass macro and the class declaration. So, very similar setup to the previous header file we were working with, but this one is going to have a few more specific variables and functions. So it's going to have a power level, because every battery's got some amount of power that it's going to be able to give to our character. So that's going to be a float variable called power level. And we will make this a U property as well so that we can work with it from within the editor, because eventually we're going to have a blueprint based on this code class, and as a result we're going to want to be able to tweak the variable values from within the editor. So this is edit anywhere, blueprint, read write. And again, we're going to give this a category of power, because it's for the power level. And just to go ahead and give this a comment when we come back and try to remember why exactly we added the power level variable. This is the variable that sets the amount of power that the battery will give to the player. And that's it for variables. We're not going to add any new components, because we'll just be able to assign this static mesh of a battery to our existing static mesh component. So the only other thing we're going to do here is override the onPickedUp function. So we need to, our onPickedUp function, if you remember previously, we had to call it onPickedUp implementation. If you go back over to your pickup source file, you see onPickedUp implementation, which was because this is a Blueprint native event, which has sort of the Blueprint version and then a code-based backup. So this code-based backup is called onPickedUp implementation. So when we override that function in our child class, our new battery pickup, we have to still call it onPickedUp implementation so that we know exactly what we're overriding. And so we give it the override keyword. And this we don't need to give a new uFunction modifier for, because it's going to use this same one as in our pickup header. So Blueprint native event, we don't need to reuse the uFunction modifier here. And in fact, we can't. So now this one, again, a comment for when we come back, will be that this overrides the onPickedUp function. And in case we're wondering later why we had to use underscore implementation, we had to because this is a Blueprint native event. So that's it for our new battery pickup header. So now we're going to work with our battery pickup source file. So again, over here in the Solution Explorer, if this gets collapsed for some reason, you come back to this at a later time, just again, expand tutorial code, source, tutorial code again for our module code, or our module folder, and find batterypickup.cpp. Again, we've got included the module header, our class header, And we've got the class constructor again. So remember, this is where we're setting up variables or components, things like that, that will be set every single time the class is created. So every time the class is created, we're going to give the battery a power level of 150. And this is the base power level of the battery. Now this doesn't mean that down the road we couldn't change this and say, you know, if you hit some sort of magic power up, all of your batteries will all of a sudden give you 3,000 power. It's just, this is the baseline power that each battery will contain when it's created in the world. And again, after the constructor, we can add our onPickedUp implementation. And our battery will actually have some specific functionality. We want the battery onPickedUp implementation to first to call the parent implementation. So say one day we decided that all pickups needed to shrink when you collected them. Well, we need to make sure that that happens even in the classes that inherit from the pickup. So we need super onPickedUp implementation. And that basically just says any other functionality that onPickedUp brings with it, we need to call that right now. And then we want to destroy the pickup. So first we want to call the parent implementation of onPickedUp, and then we want to destroy the battery. And of course the order of these is very important. So if you had destroy before you had this super onPickedUp, then you destroy the battery before you called any of the parent functionality, which definitely probably wouldn't work in your game. So it's very important that the order of when you call this super and then your function. So basically we've now set up a power level for our battery, set a baseline value for that power level, and set some new behavior for when the battery is collected that will override the existing behavior for the pickups collection. And now we can go ahead and compile our project. So make sure everything is saved. Make sure all the asterisks are gone from your tabs there. And right-click on your project, debug, start new instance, and start building. After this, we're going to go create our blueprint. So basically, we'll finish off our battery layer of classes, which started with the pickup, then had the battery pickup, and then we'll have a blueprint based on that battery pickup, which will let us set things like the mesh and finally that blueprint native event behavior that I've been talking about adding in for the past couple of videos.